Okay, I've procrastinated long enough. Let's get this show on the road. Hi, future Brian. I think you told me to help you work on I think it was like shoulders to neck and all of the connections in there. So I did a couple little basic drawings, pretty simple drawings of the skeleton, and they'll help you place the muscles, and I'll just go over them pretty easily. So, names. I don't think you really need to know the names too much, but it wouldn't hurt to know them. So, I'll just highlight them and say the names. This is the clavicle. This is the sternum. And this has a different name, but it's a part of the sternum, and it's for these connections in between. It kind of connects to the top, for these connect to the top of its scapula. This is the one that the trapezius, this triangle muscle, is riding on the back. And then this is just your arm bone, who cares? What else? I didn't really think this through. I guess I was going to try and teach you the muscles, but it's a little complicated. I know little stick man down there is staring at you a little vigorously with them protruding muscles, but just ignore him for now. I did the arm raised right here so that you could see the difference between the clavicle's height, and for all these bones for that matter, when the arm is raised, because they change. From the top view, they don't really change as much. I think it comes closer in, but you don't really need to know that information. And then from the back view, it's the same. They change. So, tips. The distance between these, when they are both normally sitting, like if this were, like a normal arm setup and you didn't raise his arm, they would be about the width of the head. Now I drew it kind of off-centered because he's kind of looking that way, but if he were totally straight, it would be about the width of a head. And when the arm is raised, it kind of cuts in, so it cuts in from the top and moves away at the bottom, so it's just a little complicated. You just have to remember the clavicle and you'll be set. So here's the normal height, and here's it raised. It kind of starts to seem like it comes off the same, but it's way further up really when you put all the muscles on top. Here, like you can see it come all the way up. For attachment points for the muscles, I would say mostly remember this point here and the middle here. So these 3 points are, I think, the most important when you're drawing all of the muscles, the deltoid, the trapezius, all of them. And I can show you them right here. So the pec muscles, if we draw in our arm bone, are connected right there. So they come out and they wrap around like that. I'm not sure how that's going to help you. I feel like you need to have some sort of proficiency with drawing the skeleton and like basic people. Like you don't really need to know how to draw the muscles, but if you could just get like simple blockouts for how people look I feel like you would be much better off and then learn the muscles later. Like, I don't need any muscle anatomy to learn how to do what I'm doing right now. And this is like a totally viable way to draw a person. And then you can put the details on top. And then move over to learning muscles. But the transition between doing this and then doing muscles is obviously what's underneath. And that's the skeleton. So if you can learn these groups, so I'm going to list them off. You need to know what the skull is, which, yeah, no shit, right? But you need to know the difference between the skull and the jaw. You can probably see them separated. That would help you out a lot. And then you need to know from the back, you've got your spine. So, spine. And then rib cage. From the side. Should always draw them from these two angles, maybe not 3/4, because that has to do with perspective. And we're not there yet. And the clavicle. If you want, I guess you could simplify it as just this Y shape. I know it's more complicated than that, but when you're looking at them kind of dead on, it's less curvy than, you know, what I drew here. Like, it's pretty straightforward. It's when you start looking down at them that big ol', you know, biker handle shape comes into play. So for front view, it's pretty much fine for it to be pretty damn parallel. And then scapula from the back. And on the side, it's really flat. And the clavicle from the side is also very flat. I don't know if I drew that. I didn't, because I'm stupid. But just remember that it's like 1/4 of the full clavicle width from the side. You barely see it at all. And it goes down a little bit. Like this. What else are we looking at? The arm bone. I entirely forget the name of the arm bone. I really just straight up don't know. I should know. That's kind of on my fuck it list for things to learn how to draw, because that's how your arm is really connecting, and not knowing that's kind of fucking me up. There's just two bones in here. So learn how to draw all of these things. And then simultaneously you need to be drawing things with the knowledge that you have. Like, you can't just build up to, oh, whoa, now I can do this in full characters with all of their muscles or whatever. It's like, that's going to be a while anyway, so learn how to draw with primitives, you know, very primitive kind of, like, here's an arm, it's kind of just a tube. Maybe these dudes are shaking hands. Get sketchy. And don't take too much time thinking about, you know, erasing lines, or these lines have to be perfect. That is all the information I have. I said I would teach you how to draw the muscles, but it's just more unnecessary. You should be able to get away with just no anatomy whatsoever, and do a drawing, a real or semi-full drawing of like a character doing something instead of just like stiff person, and then you're going over with all the details. This is just takes too much time. It's boring. It gets wonky because you don't you're not drawing with speed, and that's like a big issue. If you're not drawing quickly, things just get out of proportion. You need to think about what you're going to draw. Maybe it's, it's just going to be a person sitting on a bench, and then think about it, like literally for a second, and then draw what you think as quickly as possible. Because if you don't, and you sit there with your thumb up your ass, kind of just slowly drawing the person, what you remember isn't going to get onto the page. What you know is all of the muscles and ligaments and bones are going to be on the page. They're just going to be wonky because you're taking your time and you're zooming in and you're looking real close where you should be zooming out and drawing the whole thing instead. Not drawing the hands. The arms are really just triangles. And that totally works for a person, on a bench. Keep watching, Procos or all of those anatomy videos if you want to draw the anatomy. But just remember that you have to be sketching like this first before you go, sicko mode. This has been my TED Talk. Thanks, Brian. See you later, bitch.